Hey guys, it'll take us a couple of more minutes to get everyone on board and then we'll get started. All right, perfect. Everyone is in and we are about to start. Hi everyone, GM, whatever you're tuning in from. Welcome to today's X Space hosted by Space AD from hacks to human top level domains that make Block Explorer make sense. I'm Alice, marketing lead at Space AD, your host today, and I'm fired up because we've got the A team of domain services and top projects in the room. Gravity, Block Scout, Zeta, Mint, projects that are making Web3 better. And a short intro about the host. For those listeners who don't know, Space AD is the leading multi-chain digital identity platform providing secure, trustless identity for users, dApps, AI agents, and entire ecosystems. We have more than 6.7 million domains and 2.7 million owners across multiple chains, including BNB, Arbitrum, Ethereum, Story, Mint, Gravity, Zeta, and more. If you are an individual user at Space AD, you can easily create, trade, and manage digital identity in one place. And if you are a developer, you can integrate our SDK and API to enable domain functionality across blockchains in your dApp, or even launch your own top-level domain like .g, .zeta, or .mint, supercharging UX and community ownership in your ecosystem. Launched in 2022, Space AD's mission is simple. We want to build a universal identity layer for Web3 that replaces complexity with clarity, anonymity with trust, and fragmentation with interoperability. That was a quick intro, guys, and let's go over to our speakers. We've got a stacked panel today. Mochmir from Block Scout, Duncan, community manager from Gravity, Charlie from Zeta Blockchain, and Noble, the ambassador at Mint Blockchain. Um, Please, guys, introduce yourself, your project, what do you do there, and the magic behind it. Let's start with Block Scout.
Hey, yeah, thank you. And hello, everyone. Wimir here. Great to be here, and thanks again for the invite. So, in super short, basically, like I guess most of you are very familiar with Blocksca already. So, we're basically making blockchain data transparent, accessible, and actually usable for the real people, not just developers. So, Blockscout has been started in 2018. So yeah, feels like forever, almost pushing to 8 years in crypto. And yeah, for the context of today's space, I think we are big believers that explorers are more than just than tools for developers. They're basically interfaces into the on-chain world, and I think by default, the UX in this space still sucks and it's still stuck in the past. So that's why we have been excited about domain names for a long time and has been working very closely with the Space ID team and also many of the other like attendees of these spaces. And yeah, I think like unreadable names are one of many missing pieces to make explorers more intuitive, trustable, and way more user friendly. So happy to dive more into that later today. So yeah, hi everyone.
Thank, thank you, Mochmir. Thank you. That was amazing. Okay, let's go over to Gravity.
Hi there. Glad to be here. I appreciate you guys giving us the time and the space. Obviously, Space ID, fantastic stuff you guys have been doing for an extended period of time. It's really amazing to see how far the ecosystem has grown overall, honestly. Actually, yeah, I remember very early on when you guys started and everything. It was we did some work together with the Galaxy and the Space ID communities, and it was always a fantastic experience. So I just wanted to throw that in there. First, obviously, I'm whether I usually speak on a lot of these spaces from the Galaxy side. I am involved in the Gravity community as well. So today I am excited to speak from the Gravity side of things. I'll do my best to relay the information in the best way. Gravity is the ultra fast parallel EVM layer one blockchain. 27 million unique wallet addresses, 411 million plus total transactions. We are unlocking unparalleled speed and scalability, delivering 1 gigagas per second throughput and sub-second finality to over 25 million users built by Galaxy. It's a massive ecosystem, and we're here to power it with speed. And it's a good time. So hopefully you guys can stay on board.
Thank you for coming over today, and that was a very, very nice intro. Let's go to Zeta Chain.
Hey, thanks for having me. So yeah, I'm Charlie. I'm the lead head of engineering over at Zeta Chain. We are a EVM compatible blockchain focused on native interoperability. So basically, developers and users from Zeta Chain can access all the familiar EVM chains, Base, Ethereum, Avalanche, things like that. But we also extend support out to Bitcoin, Solana, Sui, and we have Ton support in the works as well, available on our testnet. And so Space ID and sort of human readable addresses are pretty key for that, right? I mean, using one blockchain can get complicated. When you're trying to do it across multiple, it's even more challenging. And so yeah, human readable names that support addressing across multiple chains and make it easier to find the right, the right contact address or the right user address across multiple chains is going to be super important, I think, in order for this space to grow.
Yeah, I love what you guys doing in the space. You are definitely sorting out interoperability issues that align with our mission as well. Thank you, Charlie, so much for joining our space today. And let's go to the Mint blockchain.
GM guys, am I audible? Okay, glad
Yeah,
to have,
we can hear you.
okay, glad to be here, guys. Actually, my name is Noble, and I'll be speaking on Mint, introducing Mint to you guys, and also I'll be sharing some awesome updates that we are actually building on. So, as you guys know, Mint is rapidly growing in the Web3 ecosystem, and it's Mint is actually empowering creators, collectors, developers through powerful tools and decentralized infrastructure, and one of the most active NFTs and DeFi environments out here. And over the past years, and Mint has been able to do achieve awesome things. Mint has been able to see over 54 million transactions with over 503,000 plus active wallets, showing real global engagements. And that's not all. And it's not only about the numbers. And Mint is focused on users' experience, and that's a clear, true feature, you know. And Mint is building something actually awesome in the space. And actually, I will also highlight some awesome features we are building. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. We're really pleased to have such a great partner as Mint Blockchain as well. And yeah, thank you so much. Let's round it out with Space ID's very own Harrison Seletsky, our business development director, who's been leading the charge on growing Space ID and its identity infrastructure across chains and ecosystems.
Hey everyone, excited to be here. Harrison here from Space ID. Like Alice said, I lead the BD over here. We're building a universal identity platform, domain name service, and aggregator, working with a lot of great teams, many of which are here participating in this panel. And for us, it's really just about making these on chain interactions easier, more trackable, more verifiable through human readable wallet addresses, essentially bringing username like capabilities to the Web3 space. So Block Explorers is an obvious and easily identifiable use case for domain names. Anyone who's tried to use block explorers previously knows how technically complex it can be to analyze all of this different data, whether it be sending and receiving funds or analyzing on-chain assets themselves. So yeah, happy to be here, excited to dive in, and yeah, gonna be a great chat.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks to all of you guys for coming today. And let's start with our first segment, why UX had to change. Let's dive into why this even matters. We all know that crypto has a usability problem, and we've been chatting about it for several years. We've built incredible tech, but we are still sending tokens to a 42 character strings and praying that it will reach the addressee. And it's not the right vibe we want to propel the Web3 if we want to propel the Web3 to the next level. So we are here today to actually chat about how we make it really simple and how we replace wallet chaos with human readable, verifiable domain names and seamless UX. Let's be real, crypto UX is still looking like a dev tool from 2016, and wallet addresses look like Wi-Fi passwords that give no context to neither OGs in the space nor to beginner users. And besides onboarding steps, cross-chain transactions, and other complexities of Web3, this wallet address spaghetti has been the biggest onboarding killer. Just imagine when users start with Web3, they get slapped right away with this alphanumeric string of letters and numbers as the major Web3 identifier and representation on chain. If I was a Web2 user who wanted to transition to Web3, I would be I would be terrified right away, to be honest. But that's changing with domain names, I believe. It's so simple and straightforward. Web3 usernames make Web3 just human readable, and it already simplifies a lot of things. It already elevates the UX. And paired with block explorers like Block Scout, we are talking about actual usability, names that people can remember, reputations that stick, and wallets that are verifiable. And we are not losing the decentralization here either. No one forces people to reveal their passport name. They can be still anonymous, but they can have the name that actually makes sense. And yeah, so I want to go to Block Scout, to Mojmir, and I want to ask you, Mojmir, since you've been spearheading the UX upgrade across multiple chains, and I really like what you guys doing in your platform. You've just accumulated all of those chains under one rooftop, and you simplified so many things for users that are not obliged to jump from BSC scan to ETH scan and to multiple chains. They can just get it all in one place. I really love that. The question that I want to ask you is, why did your team decide to integrate top level domains into block explorers? What was that aha moment that made it a no brainer?
Yeah, thank you. I totally echo you on the part with the UX in the space still being broken after all these years. And yeah, like why was that the priority? So it's already some time, something like 2 years at this point, when we basically internally agreed to shift the direction of BlockScout more towards end users and not just the developers. And I think like the domain names are a very like a natural and obvious thing to focus on if better UX is your priority. So yeah, then you basically like land on a page filled with string of X addresses, random hashes, contact name, and it feels like basically like a backend log file than actually some user centric product. And I think that kind of experience really pushes people away. It doesn't like really invite curiosity. It doesn't like build trust among the users and the project. So for us, like we been developing support for ENS on also all the different domain names protocols was like a very natural move. And basically, all these let you add the context to what users actually see when they check the block explorer. So for example, if I see, I don't know, that Zeta in the explorer, it is very clear for me from what I'm looking at. and what does it represent, and I can connect with that identity much easier and much faster. I think it's in a way it's like going from license plate numbers to user names, right? So basically that's very similar there. So we have actually developed our own in-house solution. We call it like BENS. Initially supported only ENS, but throughout the years, it did support for all these forks and all sort of different protocols. So yeah, now we can support the space ID domains, but also others on very wide and different chains. And because Bloxcloud is also open source, open up the possibility for more chains, basically all chains, to adopt different domain name providers and improve basically the UX for the users. Yeah, all they need is to have Bloxcloud available for this chain. And so, yeah, I think like we basically see the domain name is not just a nice to have UX feature, as maybe it was back in the day, but as a like very important critical step towards the like Web3 usability in general.
Yeah, for sure. Are you actively following the strategy of integrating more and more top level domains? What is your next one?
Yeah, so I can't actually tease in detail, but yeah, like in general, always trying to improve the product as much as possible with something like Blob Explorer. It can be very tricky because we have an incredible backlog and a lot of features in our roadmap we want to focus on. But yeah, as I mentioned, we did this shift towards users, towards user-centric features, towards the UX, and so really try to prioritize those now. So yeah.
Great. Thank you much, Mir. Thank you. All right, so time to get even more specific. Each of you guys are doing something different within your ecosystem and with your top level domain, be it .g, .min, .zeta. So I've got a few pointed questions to our top level domain projects. Feel free to share insights, surprises, even things that didn't go as expected. And I'll go over to Gravity Protocol, Duncan. Duncan, Dodgy domains recently surpassed 70K registrations since February, and the adoption is going at the rocket speed. It's really great. And Dodgy has been also integrated into Block Scout Explorer hosted by Conduit. In your perspective, what was the biggest surprise post launch? Community developer adoption, UX feedback, or maybe you noticed another use case that hit different from your community management perspective?
Thank you. I appreciate the question. I would say part of my answer is in the question itself. The number, the 70K, in particular, the piece that I would say hit different or surprised myself for sure during times of shakiness, and almost roller coaster ride of a market state from January till now. Right? I mean, even the last year overall. There's been a lot of unsureties, but the thing that has made myself and many of our team more sure than ever about where we stand and what we're building is that rate of activity, that 70K, the fact that the speed at which users started using their G domains and responding in kind. I think this is an indication of how strong that our Gravity community really is. It's not just the Galaxy community. It's Gravity and more. It's become its own spearhead, leading the way for the ecosystem, and we are standing beside many incredible people that are hungrier than ever for what's next, and it just shows every day. And I think that from my perspective, I would say it's definitely been the speed and excitement, even in shaky times, that's really surprised me and kept me and my other teammates very motivated for the future.
Yep. I definitely agree with you that very often the success of the domain launch is related to the community sentiments, to how active and inspiring the community is, because even if people don't care about the wallet address mass, they still care about the project and they kind of feel respected to have their name on a certain chain like
Yeah.
Alice.g or Duncan.g. Yeah, I that definitely makes sense. Do you think that dodgy domains also boost project discoverability across chains in these multi-chain environments, across multiple dApps, and maybe going beyond Gravity Chain?
Yeah, I do. I personally think that when you look at something like the term discoverability, right? And we go back to the beginning, the pre gravity, just Galaxy itself, and the area of discoverability that we've known and understood, and what I've seen going through the space and seeing the growth and change and the interoperability of everything kind of coming to a more convenient standpoint where we now more than ever are the most multi-chain we've been, right? And you can click on someone's .g domain, see their entire history. Simplifying things is really the core of discoverability at the end of the day, and I'll explain that in a minute what I mean there. It's about finding the people that are behind these projects. It's about finding the people that are involved, the connections that they have made, and .g is that entry point for which it's going to be very convenient for users in the long term to start understanding sooner rather than later, at least in my opinion. And I think that the best way to explain what I mean there would be people often fit into specific niches, right? We are very
Mm-hmm.
consistently following the pattern of sticking to something specific that they may find they resonate with. It's about creating culture. And I do think that we have created a very specific culture with the Gravity community that is very personable
Yeah.
and connective. And it doesn't lead users to stick down one narrow path, but understand that they can explore more and still thrive and flourish. We can break that mold, right? We go past the specific groups of diehard fans, like the Bitcoin maxis or the everybody that was obsessed with XRP and still probably is. The patterns that we have been sort of predestined towards following as we've gone throughout these years are now breaking. And what happens when those patterns break? It's true discoverability, true connectivity, all in one. No more sticking in one place because it was just the first one you experienced. You'll be able to experience it all, explore it all. And that's what I think will happen here with what we're building. Ecosystems are meant to grow and connect continually because we're all better together.
Yeah, to add more, just let's push .g domains even further and let's increase the mass adoption. Let's equip all of the Gravity chain with .g names. All right,
Of course.
thank you, Duncan. Let's go
Thank you.
to Zeta. To Charlie, Zeta Chain is a layer one blockchain that enables true omni-chain interoperability, allowing smart contracts to access assets across multiple chains in a unified manner. And I'm yeah, I really like what you guys doing in this space as well. And since the launch of Zeta, we got almost 200,000 domains registered. It's definitely a decent number. And since Zeta launch and since Zeta launch, what feedback did you get from your community users that surprised you most or that didn't surprise you at all? And how are Zeta names were and are used in DeFi or DAOs on Zeta chain?
Yeah, so we got a lot of feedback that didn't totally surprise us. So we talked earlier about the sort of the UX improvements being really necessary, and that's why Zeta Chain exists, right? We recognize that the cross-chain ecosystem was challenging to use. The way you had to switch networks and switch across apps wasn't great. So UX improvements is really our primary focus, and so it was kind of obvious that addresses don't lend themselves to a good UX. And so a lot of the feedback we got is probably the same that you hear from other folks, right? Around dresses being long and
Mm-hmm.
confusing, difficult to read. They didn't really capture any of the personality or humanity of the individual behind the address. Or more recently, doesn't capture the consistency of like an AI agent behind an address, right? But it's good to know
Mm-hmm.
which one you're interfacing with. So yeah, we didn't get too much surprising stuff. But we've seen the stuff we expected, right? People are like, this is great to have. We can actually, they can bring their own
Mhm.
personality to it. It makes them more attached to it. And then being able to um, interact and kind of track their experts or people who are interacting in the same ecosystem or niche, as was mentioned, right? And being able to see, like, oh, I like this person. They've been playing, for example, we have a game, Pitch Lucy, right? They've been playing Pitch Lucy. I see they're doing well on the leaderboard. I'm going to go see what other AI based games they're playing with and go follow them over there.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Charlie, do you think that, let's say, Zeta users would prefer their .zeta name be available across multiple chains, or do you think it still makes more sense to kind of separate the domain names and just keep in this multi-chain environment rather than cross-chain?
So having them available across all chains would be great, but the nice part about the way the Zeta Chain ecosystem works is we're essentially operating as a hub where a user, without leaving Zeta Chain, can be interacting with assets and with the contracts and applications on multiple chains. So by having their .zeta domain, right, one of the things you can do on the Space ID platform is you can go and set your address for BSC or from some of these
Mhm.
other chains. And so from Zeta Chain as the hub, you can still interact and reach out to these addresses using the .zeta domain. And you would also be able to interact with the top level domains for some of these other chains as well.
Yep. And also to add to this part, I want to remind everyone that with our not already recent, but with the feature on MetaMask wallet with Space ID Web3 domain Snap, users can actually discover and resolve all of the AVM compatible domain names within the MetaMask, and they can use them to send and receive crypto seamlessly, like in Revolut when you would use your ref tag instead of your card number. You would do the same in MetaMask by just using your charlie.zeta and then send crypto to whoever you're aiming at. So yeah, thank you, Charlie. Thank you so much. Let's go further to Mint blockchain. Mint is the layer 2 blockchain connecting global consumers with NFTs, and I'm really excited to get the feedback about the domains on Mint because it's something that really can empower the creators. So, the question for Mint. .mint got a huge UX win with Explorer integration. What role do you think .mint domains play in token launches? And if they're not playing any role, what would it be if they were?
Okay, so yeah, this is a big one actually. You know, level domains like means are actually making a big change. You know, a big game change. During token launches, domains like Mint act like a trusted entry point for users, and no more hunting down contractors or checking if the links are legit. It's direct, branded, and secured. And when you combine that with the Explorer integration, the experience becomes super smooth, and people know where to go. You understand? And what they're interacting
Mm-hmm.
with, and they feel safer doing it. And also, if I should highlight also again that Mint already has over like 54 million transactions and more than half a million active wallets. So that kind of scale shows that these improvements aren't just cosmetic. And TDL's top level domains are actually reducing friction and building trust. And also we are encouraging more way of participation, especially from new users. So that's it.
I see. Let's just go into a tangible example. If I'm a user and I go to Mint chain to launch my own token, do I have do I have any utility with my .mint domains, or is it just a nice feature for me to to set up to represent myself on Mint blockchain?
Okay. When it comes to that, we actually like Mint actually just gives you a nice feature for you to showcase your domains. You understand? We don't actually when it comes to utilities, there's no we're actually building on actually some utilities, but when it comes to what we do, what we focus on, we just make your experience smooth and easy to navigate.
Yep, fair. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Noble. Let's go further to Harrison. Harrison, a question for you. What role do you see Space ID playing in unifying the top level domain space across chains and explorers? And how can we collaborate more effectively to improve our partners' ecosystems with our domain name services and push the community adoption even further?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, at our core, we're an identity protocol. So, not only do we launch top level domains, but we also aggregate all of the established ecosystems ENS, Solana Name Service, Unstoppable Domains, Lens Protocol. So, whether you're a Block Explorer infrastructure provider like Block Scout, or if you're your own native Block Explorer, we have a solution that can be tailor fitted to bring a better user experience to the platform. For a multi chain explorer, they can support all of these different domain names through a single tech stack. And for more siloed or chain specific explorers, we can also bring that native domain name service directly. So again, it's really about providing that username like experience. And whether you're building block explorers on chains that Space ID natively supports or just aggregates the domain name services on, our tech stack makes it really easy to integrate that and bring those username like capabilities. And can you repeat the second question again?
Yeah, how can we collaborate more effectively to improve our ecosystems and ecosystems of our partners with our domain name services and push the adoption even further?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, um, as an infrastructure layer, we're a little bit different than other dApps because the way we're used kind of depends on the dApps of each particular ecosystem. For example, Mint blockchain is highly focused on the NFT side of things. So it would make sense to focus on creator tracking, on-chain provenance of NFT trading, artist tracking, essentially providing a username or a identifier to these artists, to these traders, to these speculators that are interacting on Mint. For other chains that are more DeFi focused, there would be a different strategy. Focusing on bringing new users, stimulating competition through leaderboards where you know how you can compete against your friends when you're able to easily track them instead of just staring at, randomized alphanumeric wallet addresses. So I think it really depends on a chain by chain basis. And I think it also really needs to be ecosystem led. We've found that the most successful domain name services, whether that be some of Space ID native domain name services or something like ENS or Solana name service, it really boils down to the community themselves, where we're just providing a tool to improve that overall user experience. So I think it really needs to be ecosystem led. Ecosystems that are focusing on account abstraction, if they're focusing on bringing in new users, um, and then depending on the type of dApps that are kind of catering to on their ecosystem, that's where we'll see the most value. So I think the ecosystems kind of know their user bases best. And Space ID is very malleable in that way, where we can kind of conform the domain name service to fit the needs of each user base. So I would definitely recommend each ecosystem that we're working with to kind of take a bird's eye view of how usernames can play a role in their specific niche or in their specific market. And then we can help bring more awareness and more usability to all of those integrations through co-marketing. Obviously there's the utility of the domain names themselves through brand exposure. So yeah, it's really just about pinpointing how these usernames can best fit into each ecosystem. and then working with the ecosystem teams from a top-down level to make sure that each user has the easiest capability for these types of interactions.
I love that. These are great takeaways, and I can add to your point, Harrison. Thank you so much, by the way, that Web3 Domains is such a nice and so flexible tool that you can play around in different ways depending on the use case. And I do believe that it can be adjusted to each of the chain even more and even deeper, as you mentioned, Mint and Zeta and Gravity. I guess it can find its use cases no matter what's happening in the Web3, and we definitely need to take that bird's eye view and kind of map out all the potential case studies and to boost the utility of our domain names. Thank you so much, Harrison. And we are going to our last segment, Alpha Drop. Last question before we'll wrap our space, guys. Let's shed some light on your projects. If you've got any new upcoming features, campaigns, updates, or exciting integrations, please share with us. This is your moment to flex. And let's go around the room again. Let's start with Charlie.
Sorry, could you repeat that for me?
Yeah. If you've got any exciting updates about your project that you would like to share with us, we are all ears.
Oh, yes. So yeah, there's always a lot going on. Sorry, I was multitasking because I have a lot going on.
No
So
worries.
we have a great pipeline of universal apps. So these are applications that, like I mentioned, designed to work across multiple chains. You don't have to worry about, where the chain is going. You can just sort of use it like you would, more traditional Web2 applications. So we have a lot of that going on. And that's really a big focus. A lot of new projects launching and improving the developer experience. We're expanding support out to SUI as well as TONs. We have TON on testnet, SUI's on testnet as well, coming to mainnet soon. And not only do we support these as like a basic token, but you'll actually be able to call contracts and execute things on of those external chains as well, which is going to be really great and allows developers to access those ecosystems, even if they aren't an expert in these ecosystems, right? I mean, they don't have to worry about those. So very excited to see all of that launching and see developers start taking advantage of it.
Exciting, 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 really. Congratulations on those upcoming new features. Thank you, Charlie. Who wants to be next? Morger from Block Scout.
Hey, yeah, sure. I can go ahead. Next. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we have a pretty extensive impact roadmap. Always so many features to develop for a tool like Blob Explorer, and also like trying to keep up with everything what is happening in the space, all the new EIPs and everything. We have also recently, recently, time flies. It's something like I think a couple of months already. Our points program we call Merits ongoing. That's pretty popular among the users, so we'll be dropping some campaigns around that as well. Also, like kind of a small new feature which will be releasing like in a week or two is a new multi-chain search tool. So it will allow you to search just to use one search bar, and you will receive the hits across from all sorts of different Block Scout explorers. So yeah, eventually will be supported also searching with the domain names, which should make it really easier for users to navigate. And likely the biggest news recently, which we had, is the release of AutoScout. So there's our one-click deployment tool, which allows anyone to spin up the Blockscout Explorer for any EVM chain in minutes. We have it available through the UI, through the API. Had some RAS providers using the service for some time now. Now we open it up to everyone. So like even small teams, independent developers, anyone can now, like in literally 5 minutes, spin up an explorer for any chain they wish. So yeah, pretty exciting times.
Awesome. Sounds just awesome. Yeah, I see that we're guys step by step, but we are definitely working on improving the UX in the whole Web3 space. We are really grateful to have such great partners. Let's go further to Mint Chain.
Okay, guys. I will just quickly talk about our awesome feature that we are actually working on right now, and it's called the Main Studio. Okay, so firstly, what's the Main Studio? Um, I'm going to put it like this: Mint Studio is a go-to NFT launchpad, and it's built on Mint blockchain, and is a layer two focused exclusively on NFT infrastructure. You understand? And it offers some awesome features like multi-chain support, zero codes NFT deployment, and it has built-in marketing and token incentives, and also is tailored to support projects of all sizes. So if you're a startup, you're still good to go. And also, Mint Studio bridges innovation with education, helping onboard the next wave of NFT communities. So, what chain does Mint Studio support? Actually, we support some few chains. Like we support the Mint blockchain itself. Uh, we're going to support Ethereum and also Base and Optimism mainnet and also BNB chain. And our aim is to help more project launch NFTs events across chains while introducing users to the Mint ecosystem. And also, what are the features we are working on putting in this awesome innovation we are working on? Okay, we have a single NFT mint whereby you can create and mint one unique NFT using a shared contract. And also, we have a full collection mint. You can deploy an entire NFC collection and mint, on multiple wallet addresses. And also, we have a custom mint event where you could launch a public or whitelisted NFT and mint with a dedicated smart contract. So, yeah, this question now: if we should launch this awesome feature, why launch with Mint Studio? No, I will just actually quickly highlight two awesome reasons, and that should be we actually creating a technical simplicity and enterprise grade security, where Mint Studio handles end to end NFT contract deployment, no codes, no audits required, save weeks of development and thousands in security costs with our trusted infrastructure, and also got built-in incentives and with S-Mint token support, you know, every qualified campaign, receives a matched Mint token reward, worth, $300 to $1,000. And we are helping you attract reusers and want to build a momentum from day one. And also, you can also help, in marketing amplification, via the Mint ecosystem. Get exposure, up to 500K Mint users, and also we will promote your Mint across social channels, on-site banners, community hubs, and wide meaningful participation. Yeah, our aim is to make sure our users get the reach they want, and also um, one-on-one custom event design for high impact in the NFT campaigns. Mint Studio is going to offer tailored event services, working closely with project teams to craft minting experience that aligns with your brand vision and users goal. You understand? And what we can provide for you, we can provide a custom NFC contract and also a logic and branding for you, and we could help with the whitelist pricing strategy designs, and also means reward pool configuration, marketing narratives, and launch support. And also a dedicated and technical and operational team that's going to help and make sure everything goes smoothly. So I want to say that when we go live, Main Studio is a place you or is what you I will actually want you guys to try out, because it's gonna be an awesome feature. So that's it.
Thank you, Noble. You've got a lot on your plate. Thanks for sharing all of these updates. And I'll just remind to all of our partners that we are always happy to support you guys and to share your updates within our community because our communities are intersecting. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing your updates. And let's go over to Gravity.
Amazing. No, I share that same sentiment. I also do. I did want to mention as well Harrison's few points there towards the end. I really do resonate with as well. Share a lot of those same opinions going forward for sure. I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed listening to that. For sure, when it comes to gravity, we have one word to speak for itself, and that's gigagas. We are pushing forward at breakneck speeds with the L1 DevNet, the Alpha Mainnet upgraded to Celestia. That was very exciting. We have some pretty cool numbers being the actual fastest G2 on Ethereum, with 0.47 ms average latency, 7 ms average overall. That's 423 TPS, 44.1 MGAS. I know it's a lot of numbers and things, but it's it's always a little tough to understand and get through when trying to speak publicly, right, and present the information in the best way you can. I'd say my recommendation for anybody listening as well that does get excited about hearing updates, product updates. We recently did a tech update a few weeks back as well. You guys can read on the Gravity Twitter account. Make sure you follow our socials. We have some exciting things coming. We are always constantly working on the L1, currently being one of the most active L2s. And we are always, and you know it, powering the Galaxy Super App with new ecosystem campaigns, events, and things going on consistently throughout the whole Galaxy ecosystem, including the Gravity community. So we're focusing a lot on the builders right now, and there's some really exciting things. Obviously, I can't fully say some of the details, but I know on our side, our other community lead, Ilya, is Quasark. He's doing some fantastic stuff with builders right now, and I'm super excited to share that with you guys coming up. So definitely stay tuned. There's going to be some fun to be had. Thanks again.
We are fired up, Duncan. You're just made such a great update on Gravity. Thank you so much. By the way, to chime in regarding the Galaxy campaign, we are currently hosting a Web3 Galaxy Web3 mission on digital identity and how to create one with Space ID through all of our domain projects, including .g, .zeta, .mint. We encourage everyone to participate. It's running on until May 26th, and there will be a raffle of domain gift cards where users can claim a free domain name. So don't miss out, jump in, share with your communities and users. They should learn about digital identity and how to get started. Alrighty, let's go to Harrison. Harrison, do you want to share any updates for Space ID?
Yeah, sure. So related to this panel, we'll be integrating even more domain names within Block Scout. So look forward to that. We also have some new domain names in the pipeline. Beyond that, we did recently release our latest product iteration called Payment ID. This is a new identity protocol which allows users to bind any centralized exchange deposit address to a single domain so that they can easily and safely send their funds to addresses using something like Harrison. If they want to send to Binance, they just do Harrison at Binance. If they want to send to HTX, Harrison at HTX. So we've seen a lot of interest there. Beyond that, we are focusing on identity and verification, not only for users, but also for AI agents, for meme coins, for on chain assets, to provide another layer of verifiability. So some of those will be coming soon. And we're also working on other product iterations related not only to AI and identity, but really just trying to make it more seamless for humans and agents to interact with each other. So that's a little bit of alpha. We're definitely still in the early stages there, but keep an eye out. We have a lot of exciting things in the timeline.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing this news. And that's a wrap. Massive thank you to all of the speakers for showing us what real utility looks like, for sharing your project's updates, and for just being here today with us. Just to recap, top level domains are not just vanity tags, they are your identity, context, UX, and a giant leap toward making blockchain understandable. We love our Space AD ecosystem partners, and if if someone missed anything, we'll be posting a recap thread with all of the highlights, use cases, and alpha. Follow Space Agent, follow our amazing speakers, follow our amazing partners. And thank you again for joining us. This space was full of signal, not just noise, for sure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone.